What is up, gamers? I am Mooney, and this is just going to be a quick video sort of demonstrating how to counter recoil with gyro control. So, just to get this out of the way, if you've ever seen an article or another video that's talking about gyro aim, and they talk about how gyro sort of completely removes recoil, and with gyro you can get zero recoil, that's like not how it works. I mean, they're trying to hype up gyro, I understand that, but it doesn't like get rid of recoil or anything. Obviously the recoil is still there. It's just easier to control, at least in my opinion, with gyro aim than it is with, say, the right stick, for example. Obviously you're still going to have to get used to learning with gyro aim, and obviously you're still going to have to counter the recoil yourself, but it should be way easier than with a stick. Now with that out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is to set up gyro aim. I'm not going to go over that in this video, specifically because, obviously, it depends on what game you're playing and how you want to set up the gyro controls. Once you do have gyro set up, the first thing you're going to want to do is going to a practice range, if your game of choice allows you to do so, and, well, see what the recoil pattern is. So I am here in the finals with my trusty F-car, and we're just going to shoot at this wall. Now I'm holding my gyro off button, so this is going to be what the recoil looks like without gyro aim. So obviously you look at the recoil pattern, and it goes up, and then swerves to the right a bit, then right again, and then up a little bit, right? So up, right a bit, right, and then up. So what you're going to want to do is, the way that most people have gyro aim set up on their controllers, is that essentially the front of the controller is where the reticle is pointing. So you're going to want to imagine, like, say, a laser pointer that is strapped to the controller, and it is pointing forward. And that is where you are aiming with the reticle. Now, obviously, the recoil is going to move up, first of all. So, in response, you're going to pull downward, right? Pretty simple. It goes up and then right a bit, then up, then right, then up. So you're just going to do that, but in the opposite direction. So I'm going to do this, pull down left, then down, then up. This is going to be a little hard to see because the movements that I'm making with the controller are really subtle. But that's kind of the point, is gyro allows you to make really subtle movements, whereas stick, that's a little harder. Right? So you just want to, this obviously isn't going to be as easy for you the first time around. It might be weird, you know, but you just want to keep doing this, you know, keep shooting at the wall, keep trying to counter the recoil pattern, keep, you know, warming up, you know, like that one wasn't so great for me. Just try and keep shooting at the same spot, you know. All right, now let's try this out really quick with another weapon. So this is now the AKM. Now this recoil pattern, once again, holding down my gyro off button. All right, so a little bit different. Up and left, then to the right, then up, straight up, and then it slowly curves left a bit. The first bullets, remember, you want to pay attention to this, move really fast, while the rest of the bullets, sort of at the end of the recoil pattern right here, are slower, and you want to take that into account, obviously. So pull down to the right faster, and then the rest is more so like a laser. Do this again. That start is a little bit annoying, so I want to try to get that start of the recoil pattern more so under control. Right, and then after that, it becomes pretty easy. Okay. So once you feel like you've gotten a little bit more control over the recoil patterns, then you want to come to shoot at some actual targets here. So we'll start out with this light here. Pretty easy. You know, I mean, I'm used to this. I've been playing the finals for a while, and I've been playing gyro for a long while, and I am used to now pretty easily practicing recoil. I did a little spray transfer there. That's something I'll get to in a bit. First, you're just going to want to try and shoot, you know, at targets. Keep in mind the recoil pattern. Try and get kills, you know. Try and use as few bullets as possible to get your kills down. Maybe you want to try and shoot at this far guy back there. You know, once you feel like you've gotten a little used to the recoil pattern, I would then move to focusing on getting headshots more. You know, try and use as few bullets as possible, right? You know how many bullets it takes to kill someone, so you want to try and do as few as possible. Then, after that, once you feel like you've gotten a little bit used to that, then I would work on spray transfers. And that is obviously keeping the recoil pattern in your mind while you then switch targets in the middle of it. Now this is a little bit of a harder thing to do, but you know, it takes practice, obviously. Right, now let me just do a little example of the F-car. Once again, the F-car pattern goes up, then to the right, then up again. So you just want to go to do the opposite of that. Down to the left, down and to the left. They made this recoil pattern easier in the last update, so that is pretty nice. One thing that I like to do a lot in the finals practice range, and this is recommended in Haze and Confused tutorial series, I would go check them out for sure, is you want to be right here in between these two moving target dummies. Of course, now they're more lifelike, but you want to try and practice recoil smoothing by counter strafing, and then practice the other way where you mimic the other person's strafing. And that's a little bit more, you know, more of a harder thing to do with the moving targets, with you yourself moving. You know, you're getting used to going back and forth between the two target dummies like this, practicing your recoil, maybe aiming for the head, maybe not, you know, just however you feel like it. And yeah, this is how I usually like to warm up in the start of a night. Okay, now we're here in Counter-Strike, and of course I'm just going to show some more examples. So obviously the same thing again. So you look at, you know, a target on the wall in a practice range, hold gyro still, and you check out the recoil pattern. Right, so this is the M4. Goes up and then left, right, and then left again. You know, you want to pay attention to the timing of the bullets. Left, right, left. All right, then you want to try and replicate that. So down, right, left, right. You know, not great, but you just want to make sure that, you know, things are in the relatively same area. Right, left, right. You know, obviously, just keep trying at it. You'll get used to the recoil. Of course, Counter-Strike also has a lot more complicated in terms of where the bullets actually land. So you just want to, you know, gonna keep trying at it and, you know, keep trying to get a feel for where the bullets land. So yeah, that's pretty much how you control recoil with gyro. Now this should apply to most games, specifically the ones that have static recoil patterns. You know, obviously trying out the recoil pattern and trying to figure out where it goes, and then of course doing it yourself and trying to counter it. Now of course this still applies to games with more randomized recoil patterns. The only thing about those games is of course the step of trying to predict where the pattern is going. I know Valorant has sort of a static recoil pattern that leads into a more randomized recoil pattern when you spray. So, you know, at that point, of course, is when you would predict where the spray is going. Obviously, as I said in the beginning, you're not going to be amazing with it to start with. In fact, you're probably going to be quite bad. As you can see, I'm not as good with the Counter-Strike recoil pattern as I am with the Finals recoil patterns. That being said, the Counter-Strike recoil pattern is a little bit more complicated, but, you know, practice makes perfect. And if you want to keep getting better at something, you got to keep trying at it and keep, you know, failing and getting better, and eventually you will be good with it. So that is pretty much the video. I hope this helps at all. And, you know, if you are maybe struggling with gyro controls, maybe, you know, a little bit confused, don't hesitate to ask any questions. I will be making a video about how to set up gyro controls in the finals at some point. I'm not sure when. Some point in the future. I don't know. But yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Hit that like button if you did so like it. And I'll see you later.